Hi guys, Miss Anderson here. Hope you are ready for another lesson in our research writing report. So let's go ahead and get started just so we can keep this video as short as possible, okay? So today we are going to be talking about step one in our writing process, or not in the writing process, but in our research writing, which is brainstorming, okay? All right, so first, let's review from our last lesson. Our last lesson, we read the book, Your First Research Paper. And so the takeaways from that book were many, and we have our notes. And so what I wanted to review is that we have the 8 elements in a research paper. So when we get started drafting our research paper, then we are going to have these 8 elements here: abstract, the introduction section, our research methodology section, our results that come from our research, our discussion about those results, a summary, and a conclusion. And I think we are going to add or combine the summary and conclusion sections together. And then we'll have our list of sources that we use to gather our information. So the reason why I wanted to highlight these 8 elements of a research paper is because we are also going to have 8 steps in our research writing process, okay? So there's benefits to both of them having 8 steps. It's easy to remember 8 steps, but I don't want you to get confused between the 8 elements of our research paper and the 8 steps in our research writing, okay? Because those are 2 different things, all right? Okay, so you will need for this lesson and subsequent lessons your note catcher, okay? So this is a printed guide, graphic organizer, um, a way to write your notes, sketch notes as you see at the top here. But it's a way to help organize your thinking, okay? Because we're going to be doing a lot of thinking during our research process, and we need to be able to have that information close by our fingertips. We need to be able to organize it. So remember, you also have your composition book that you are taking notes in. And now we're going to add to your senior capstone folder this note catcher. Okay, so you can get a copy in class. You can pause the video, get a copy in class, or I have and will attach the digital version to our Google Classroom. So even if you are not in class, if you are at home or away from class and you are participating in this lesson, then you can print it out yourself. Or I don't know if you do have Adobe where you can write on a PDF, then you can do it that way as well. Okay, so there are many ways that you can use this note catcher. Okay, and then if all else fails, you can also use your composition book. Just make sure that you have highlighted, because I will be doing some spot checks on your notes just to make sure, because you're really going to need your notes as we move further along into our research writing, okay? So taking notes is not something that you should avoid or that you should skip, okay? Because it's going to matter when we start writing, okay? It will, you have to trust me on that. It's going to matter. And that's the difference between your research paper having quality and depth, which are 2 of the things that you're going to be graded on, okay? All right, so go ahead and grab the note catcher and you're ready, okay? So okay, let's go ahead and get started, all right? So in your notes in your composition book, we already talked about a little bit about what research is, okay? Or a research paper. And in your notes, you should have, I pulled this slide from one of our, I think it was our second lesson where we read chapter 1, and then we took these notes down in our composition book. So you should already have these notes, okay? So 1, research is the activity of searching for information about a topic or question. The reason why I want to keep repeating this is because research is not a one-time thing. It's going to take time, it's going to take effort, and it's going to take many iterations of you going out and looking for information. So I need to dispel the idea that research is just once you sit down, you do a little bit and then you're done. No, no, no. You will sit down and do research many times during the course of writing this research paper, okay? A research paper is an arranged piece of writing that answers a question. We're going to be generating lots of questions, and you're going to be deciding what answers you are going to go out and look for. That is research, okay? What are you looking for? What is the question that you want to answer? And what do those answers look like when you go out and you do research on them, okay? The purpose of a research paper is to present a thesis in an organized, structured, logical, understandable, and properly formatted way in order to inform or persuade the reader. Yes, it is. Check, check, check. All right, let's keep going. So these notes you already have in your composition book, okay? But I want to add some more notes about what research writing is to your note catcher, okay? All right, so first let me explain. So what is research writing? Research writing is writing that is based on evidence, okay? Evidence. And the reason why I want to highlight that is that while this research report is first person, meaning you performed the research or you did the service activity, I should say, the research that you're going to go out and get, that's going to be completely objective. So it's going to be non-opinionated, non-biased, okay? You're going out and you're getting information on your subject matter that is already out there. And you're not, at least at this time, you're not going to combine your opinion. You're going to present that information exactly as you gathered it, okay? So research writing, yes, there are some portions, the discussion section, where you are discussing what you have researched. Yes, you may add your opinion in there, especially when your thesis is going to be something should or someone should. That's an opinionated statement. That's an argumentative statement, okay? But I need you to be able to differentiate between research writing that is based on evidence, which is you're going out and getting evidence, and you want to get evidence that supports and opposes whatever your topic is, okay? So you don't want to just go out and look for sources that fit your narrative, okay? Find out what the opposite or the opposing side is saying about that, and we'll talk about that a little later, okay? But understand the difference between subjective writing and objective writing. Subjective writing is in first person, and you are giving your opinion or an argument, okay, designed to persuade. And then objective writing is designed to inform, where you are presenting the facts just as they are, okay? All right, the purpose of research writing is either to inform or persuade your audience. And then who is your audience? The audience of your research paper is your peers, okay, your teachers, the administration, and your parents, okay? So it has not been decided right now who you're going to present your final paper to. So I want you to be prepared to present your research paper to your peers, okay, in class or out of class. We don't know what that looks like yet. To other teachers in the building, because you want to share your research. You're going to be doing some good fact finding combined with your service, and then you want teachers in the building to be able to see, to acknowledge that, okay? The administration, you have a senior committee that includes the senior team. You're going to be introducing and defending and sharing your ideas with the administration. And of course, your parents. I am very much in favor of inviting your parents to your presentation. Why? Because they want to see, I guarantee you, they want to see what this year's work has been about and this culminating activity that you are doing, okay? So understand that the audience for your research paper, and why that matters, is because you want to make this research paper quality and depth, okay? You want to make it so that anyone that is looking at your presentation and reading your research report will know that you have put in 100% effort into this project, okay? That's the purpose. All right, so we are going to add these specific notes right here to our note catcher, okay? So there's a first block. Let me go back here. Yes, this first block that says what is research, or the first sketch pad, sketch notes. What is research? You're going to add those three things those three bullets that I just mentioned, okay? Number one, research writing is writing that is based on evidence, and these are your sources. The reason why I got stuck there is because I was doing it in my head, but I had to wait for my thought to finish before I actually spoke the words. Where you see the word your, okay, that is me speaking to you. That is second person narration. When you are writing your notes, you're going to change that from your to my, okay? Because now you are reading this in first person, all right? So the way you should write this down, and everywhere it says your, you're going to write my. Research writing is writing that is based on evidence, which are my sources. The purpose of research writing is either to inform or persuade my audience. And the audience for my research paper is my peers, my teachers, my administration, and my parents, okay? You want to understand this in first person. This is your research paper, okay? All right, so pause the video. Go ahead and get those down into your note catcher, and I'll take a break as well. Okay, let's continue. So at the beginning, at the intro of this lesson, we reviewed the 8 elements of a research paper. Now we're going to go into the 8 steps that we are going to use to write our research paper. Because remember, we learned in lessons before that we were going to do this in a step-by-step process. That way everyone is on the train, everyone is on board, and we're all getting to our final destination, okay? So now, first step is identify your area of service. That is what we're going to do today. The next step is generating our research questions. Then researching and gathering information. That's where literature review comes in, if you're familiar with the research process. Step 4, developing our data collection methodologies. I'm excited about that one because that's where we go into qualitative and quantitative research methods. And that's where we are going to share or discuss and brainstorm how you're going to collect your data. Are you going to do some surveys or some polls? Are you going to do some interviews or some case studies? Okay, looking forward to that lesson. Then we're going to get organized and we're going to create our outline. Notice we haven't done any actual writing yet. Okay, all we've done is collect information. Then step 6, we're going to start our draft. Okay, then we'll proofread that. We'll go through the writing process. And then our final step is to print it out to go into our notebook. Okay, all right, so those are our 8 steps. So let's get on with it. Okay. All right, so before we get into, this actually coincides with identifying your service area, which is step 1. I have a table here of, I hope that is all inclusive of your areas of service, meaning in spite of your organization, the overall mission or your areas of service should fall into one of these categories, okay? So, after school youth programs, young adult outreach, free library, young women's outreach, okay? So the difference between young adult outreach would be the Hispanic community counseling services. That would be an example of a young adult outreach. However, young women outreach, one of our cadets, Sister Clara Muhammad, and then I have another organization that is doing, their mission is to help young pregnant women, okay? So if your organization is specifically for women, then you are doing young women outreach, whereas your organization is helping all young adults, then you are doing the young adult outreach, okay? PMA cadet leadership, okay? That leadership can be whatever you're doing in the building, okay? But not to combine that with the environmental services. Those two I want to keep separate. So if you are cadet leader in the building, like Bailey Taylor, okay, then yours are cadet leadership. And if you're doing, if you're working with our custodial staff and our environmental services staff, then that's the category that you fall in. The homeless shelter, the elder care. Now that elder care can be rehabilitation center, it can be a veterans home, it can be a nursing home. All of those fit under elder care, okay? Home health care. I think Cadet Morgan is actually going out with a nurse. This is a registered nurse, and that registered nurse, instead of the patients coming to her, she actually goes to the patients. So she provides the nursing services in home. I thought that was really, really, really cool. And I can't wait to follow you, Cadet Morton, on this research project, okay? I can't wait to hear how it's going with you shadowing nurse, I forget her name, but I'll remember her name shortly, to see how that's going and to see what exciting things you are learning about the home healthcare services. Medical support. Our ALS Foundation would fit under medical. I think that's the only medical support organization that we have, or service area. PMA yearbook and organization. Yes, that also is differentiated from cadet leadership and environmental services. So if you work with PMA yearbook or you did some organizing in the building, then that's your area of service. And then we have parks and recreation. Now, because I'm not a perfect person, if I have left off any organizations or any areas of service that you feel do not fit into one of these categories, then please send me an email and I will update this slide, okay? All right, so identifying your service area, okay? So how do I do that, or how do you do that if it doesn't come already to you, okay? So the way that we do research, or the way that we do any type of brainstorming and thinking, is by asking ourselves questions, okay? Asking ourselves questions. So, what is my area of service? Okay. And that should have been answered by one of these categories. But if it's not, okay, then go on to the next question. Okay, so what was the mission of my organization? What does my organization do? And then what did I do within my organization? Okay. If you ask yourself these questions, I feel like you should get to that broad idea. Okay, we're going to go into developing our research question and narrowing those things down. But first, you want that broad category of where your service area was, because this is actually your topic, the topic of your research paper. Okay, so the topic of my research paper is going to be my service area, which is, and this is the example that I'm going to use throughout the lessons, okay? And that's environmental services. So I had to choose which one I was going to use as an example, and I'll touch upon some of the other ones as we go along. But this is the one that I'm actually going to model and demonstrate with, and you will use to guide your thinking for your own research paper. Okay, so now take notes. If you look at the back of your sketch note, you will see there's lines there that I included. That is for you to take notes as you brainstorm, okay? As you brainstorm, you want to write things down. You don't want to rely on your memory. And here's the thing about our consciousness that's so great. Once we start asking ourselves questions, we're going to start generating those answers. And those answers may not be, or they won't only be when you're sitting in front of your computer, okay? So ideas are going to come to you everywhere you are, or anywhere you are, okay? Whether you're at home, outside, no matter what you're doing, an idea is going to come to you. And a good practice, a good life practice, is when an idea comes to you, you notate it. You either write it down, You can, if you only have your phone, you can write it down with pencil and paper, of course, but if you have your phone, you can put it in your notes. I hope you keep good notes in your notes. I have over 100 notes in my notes, and I have them categorized by subjects. Oh my goodness, I take advantage of those notes in my phone. You can also audio record it, okay? If you're more an audio person and you like to record things, then add a note. Today is Sunday, February 11th. An idea about my service area is. So I want you to get into the habit of taking notes of your ideas and your thoughts, okay? Do not wait. I don't care if it's the middle of the night. If it is, wake up, add that audio note, go back to sleep, okay? And once you develop that as a habit, you'll see that it will pay off dividends in your future, okay? All right, so the example that I'm going to use here is, what is my area of service? Environmental services, okay? So the next thing we're going to do is a Padlet wall, okay? And on our Padlet wall, in a complete sentence, add to your Padlet wall what your service area is. And I'm going to show you that in just a second. You can find the link to the Padlet wall in our Google Classroom, okay? And you're also going to add this to your note catcher, okay? All right, and you're going to draw it on the back of your note catcher. And I'll let you see my note catcher in just a second. All right, but let's go back. So first you should have in this, so you're going to draw this on the back of your note catcher, okay? I'll go ahead and show you mine. I am not an artist, okay? Nope, nope, nope. If I were an artist, then I would not be teaching at the high school level, okay? So, but there's my sketch, okay? So at the top, I have PMA Environmental Services, and we're going to go through all of those brainstorming and iterations of how to narrow our topic down to get our research question, okay? All right, so that's the way my note catcher looks, okay? So go ahead, pause the video, draw this in your on the back or in your composition book. Either one would work. I would like to see it on the back of your note catcher, to be honest with you. But if you're not in the class and you don't have your note catcher, then I would like to see it organized inside of your composition book, okay? All right, so you're going to identify your area of service. That is what you're doing, okay? So mine is environmental services. Now, we haven't talked about what in environmental services I'm doing. We haven't asked those questions yet, because remember, I want to take this step by step. So right now, you're just identifying which category you fit in, okay? Is your organization St. John's, and it is a homeless shelter? I think we have several, or at least more than one homeless shelters, okay? After school program, free library, okay? Free library, if you worked only with the after school program, then you could say that your area of service was the after school program, okay? But if you did more, then if you filed stock books, or if you did any arranging or any type of organization like that, then you would want to put the free library, okay? All right, so now let's take a look at our Padlet wall, okay? All right, so here is our Padlet wall, and again, the link is in our Google Classroom, okay? And so if I am missing a section here, you will need to email me. Please remember, I don't check the Google Classroom daily. What comes directly to me is email, okay? So if you want me to see something immediately, then email me, okay? All right, so because I'm using environmental services, the first thing I want you to put is your last name when you make your post, okay? And then you're going to put your area of service. So that's going to be, and I'll show you how to do it, okay? So in the subject, that's what's going to be bolded here, okay? So you're going to put your last name here, and then put, I can't type and talk at the same time, and then put environmental services there, okay? And then down here, this is where you're going to put your sentence. Now, here's the way I want your sentence to go. I want you to write a complete sentence, okay? I don't want you to just put environmental services, okay? I want you to write my area of service. So everyone's sentence should start with this. My area of service is, okay, and then put what you did in your area of service. For example, environmental services, my area of service is helping the school staff clean the building. Okay? And it's very easy. Okay? My area of service is shadowing. I don't know what ALS, what the guy's name, Jamie, what was his position again, Cadet Cherie? My area of service is shadowing and learning more about patients with the ALS disease and the treatments and supports that the ALS Foundation provides. Okay, so your sentence will be long. Okay, my area of service is helping youth in an after-school program with activities and fun building, not building, but fun activities, something like that. You can word it, and this is me brainstorming, okay? Remember, brainstorming is a process, so, and then you can just clean it up, okay? My area of service is, let's see what else. Oh yeah, the outreach is creating programs that help young adults with emotional and mental stability, okay? So you're going to have to sit down, you're going to have to give this some thought, and you're going to have to make a meaningful and purposeful sentence, okay? But that's going to help you, okay? That's the reason why I'm asking you to do it, because if you don't have that clear scope, okay, then it's going to be hard to define your research and then to know whether or not when you go out there and do your research, if this pertains to you or not. So you have to do the work of identifying your area of service. So you have to know, and this is based upon what you did in your community service. Remember, your community service is tied to your research paper. They are not two separate things, okay? So based on your service in the community, what did you actually do? So you're going to have to tie those two together, and that's what I did here. Helping the school staff, that's what I actually did, clean the building, okay? So there are many more parts of environmental services than cleaning the building, okay? And we're going to talk about those, like maintaining the heat and the air conditioning, okay? Even though we have portable air conditioners in our classroom, our environmental staff still have to support those. They have to update, what is that Freon that you add to air conditioning, they have to maintain those. So there's much more to the environmental services position than just cleaning, than just taking out the trash, much more, okay? And we're going to talk about that as we go into our research writing, okay? And then you can change the colors here. I like for mine to, you know, to be different colors. I love purple. You can add an image if you have an image, and I hope you did take photos, because add an image, camera, YouTube. I want to add something tasteful, okay? Environmental services. Let's see. Upload. I want to get something from the web. There we go. Web search. Images. Just to see what this looks like. Oh, wow. Okay. Water pollution. What if we can find something in a school? School. Maybe we need to add that. Okay. All right. We're getting closer. Okay. I'll take this one. All right. Because it actually kind of looks like our building. You know, those old hardwood floors. Did you know that those are original hardwood floors? When I got to this school and saw that, I was just amazed. I mean, you rarely see that, only in Philadelphia, but not only, but it was awesome because we don't have buildings that are this old in Atlanta. But anyway, so then you go ahead and publish, okay? And then it's going to look sort of like this, okay? Now, when I talk about depth, okay, I'm going to give you a grade, okay? So in your quiz, I'm going to have a question in there. Did you complete your Padlet assignment, okay? And you're going to just click yes or no, okay? If you click no, then you're going to get an automatic. It's going to be 10 points deducted, okay? But your 10 points is based upon your post here, okay? Your post does not require a photo, but it does require your name, okay? That's 3 points. Your area of service, that's 3 points. And then your sentence, your complete sentence, that is 4 points, okay? So if any of those are not done correctly, then your grade comes down, okay? So your grade can be, if you added your name and the title, but your sentence is not correct, then that's what, 6 points, okay? You don't want 6 points. You want those 10 points, okay? But if you get that 6 points, then I'm going to add a comment here. Well, if I can, let's see. Oh, okay, click right there. Wow. So if I give you 6, if you don't get your whole 10 points, okay, now 9, I probably won't add a comment. If your post is extraordinary, okay, while I can only give you 10 points, I might make a comment and say excellent post, you know, because what I'm doing is telling you that you're doing the thinking and you're doing the writing to capture the depth and the quality of what this assignment is doing, okay? However, if I need you to revise it, I'm going to tell you, revise your, and what are we going to call this? Revise your sentence, because it's the only sentence there, okay? So if I have that there, revise your sentence, and that should have been up here, okay? If I have revise your sentence and you see you only got 6 points, then you can come back in and you can revise this, okay? Or you can edit it, edit post, okay? If you edit the post and it's complete, then I will go back in and I will give you those extra points, okay? So that means that you have to be you have to be going back into the Padlet wall. Remember, nothing is a one-time deal, okay? So you have to go back in. I'm going to rate this one. I'm going to edit this one and say, excellent capture of what your service area is, okay? So you will see 2 things like that, okay? And that lets you know that you're on the right track. A lot of times students want to know from teachers, hey, am I doing this right? Well, this is your way of knowing if you are doing it right, okay? And I also want you to feel free to help me to give positive corrective feedbacks to your peers. So if you want to add a comment to someone's post, please feel free to do so, okay? Just keep in mind that we want all posts to be positive, okay? Nothing negative, all right? Okay, so I'm going to leave those 2 posts there, okay, for you to check out when you go into the Padlet wall. But you want to complete the Padlet wall before you finish watching this lesson, okay? That way you make sure that you have done it correctly, okay? And remember, I can tell, this is funny. I can tell when you have just taken the quiz and have not watched the lessons. I can tell that, okay? So you completing this assignment, this Padlet wall assignment while you are watching the video is going to tell me, because you'll be able to do all of these things correctly. So if these things are not done correctly and you're looking at your peers' posts and stuff, you'll be able to know if they did it correctly, because we've just walked through 1, 2, the 3 steps that are involved in this post, okay? All right, but let's go on and go back, okay? And I'm going to put this back on the slideshow. All right. All right, moving forward. Okay, this is my note catcher. Here's the front and the back. What you want to notice is I only put down the big ideas for my 8 steps in writing 8 steps in research writing, okay? Because we're going to talk about each of those individually, okay? Notice that I still have empty space to add more notes because we're going to continue using this note catcher, especially when we start generating questions and when we start looking for our sources. We want someplace to capture our sources. And we might have some more on what is research. So don't take up all your space on your paper, okay? And then important information down at the bottom, I added there my service area. So please put down your service area, write it down. And I also, if you see, I wrote it down on the back because I want to be clear in my thinking so that when I go out to research, I know if something is fitting, is matching my research or if it is not. And if you do not have a clearly defined service area, my service area is helping the PMA custodial staff keep our school clean, okay? When you go out there and you get research, you're going to get a lot of stuff that may or may not be applicable to what you are doing, okay? So write it down as many times as necessary, okay? And then here's the back of my note catcher. So far, I left some blank space for me to add additional notes, okay? And I can add notes wherever. And if you notice, I wrote mine with a purple pen only because I like color, okay? And so you can do it in pencil, ink pen, whatever floats your boat. Then you can go back and highlight it. You can make it different colors. Hey, do what you need to do to make this yours, okay? All right, let's keep going. Okay, so we're going to wrap up this lesson. I did not time myself. I think I'm going to start timing myself so I can keep track because I'm not sure how long this lesson has been. I don't feel like it's been over 30 minutes, but I've been doing a lot of talking, so let's just hope not. But let's go ahead and wrap up, all right, so we can end this lesson. All right, make sure you have your notes both in your composition book and in your note catcher, okay? And if you don't or can't get the paper note catcher from class, okay, even if you are not in class, stop by there and grab the paper, okay? It's on the wall where all of our, what do we want to call that? Our wall of paper? No. I'm not generating an idea, but it's where all of our documents are, okay? It's on the wall in the classroom. So come and grab a note catcher so that you can use it for doing this lesson, okay? Complete the Padlet wall, okay? Remember, you have 3 parts to that assignment. Take notes as you brainstorm, okay? Learn as you go about taking notes, learn what your style is, okay? Is your style writing it down? Okay, you can get a little notepad, a dollar notepad from the dollar store, keep it on your bed, keep it in your pocket, and wherever you go, you can whip it out and you can write some stuff down. Or are you a digital person, okay, where you most of the times have your phone with you at all times anyway, so you can just reach and grab your phone and write a note. I do that a lot. I do all 3. I do a mixture of all 3. Or are you an audio person? Is it a long note? Okay. Is it your ideas, a long thought? Because that's what would differentiate mine between writing it down and talking it out. Okay. So if I wanted to have a conversation with myself, if I found something interesting, I'm not interested in writing that down. I want to capture my thoughts at the moment. So an audio recording would be a better fit to capture that note. Okay. But I suggest that you try all 3 and then see how you like them, okay? Identify your area of service, okay? That is the purpose in this lesson, identifying your area of service, okay? And remember, if there's an area of service that you don't feel like yours fit in or you would like me to add on to it, then send me an email, but you're going to have to tell me why, okay? Was this the mission of your organization? Was this the service that you did? Why is it, or in addition to, why would it not fit into one of the categories that I've already listed, okay? All right, then once you're finished, complete the lesson quiz and then make sure you submit it in Google Classroom because that's what I'm looking for, okay? I don't all the time go back and look for those. Sometimes I'll catch it, but sometimes I won't. Okay. So if you have a 0 in the grade book, go back and check, please, that you have submitted the assignment. Because when I pull up the Google Classroom, I'm doing this as quickly as possible because it's very time consuming. So I have to make sure. That's the reason why we have the assignment in Google Classroom, in addition to it being a Google form, is because this is where I am capturing who's completed it and who have not. So if you completed the quiz, but you didn't go back and submit it in Google Classroom, there is a highly probable chance that I may miss that and give you a 0. That is unintentional, okay? So help me help you by making sure you submit it in Google Classroom, okay? Because that's the way I see who has submitted or who has completed the assignment, okay? So, all right, we are at the end of this lesson. In the next lesson, we are going to generate our research question. Oh my goodness, I am very excited about that. I have mine generated already, and I am looking forward to seeing what you develop, okay? All right, so we're going to go ahead and wrap up and end this lesson. Our first step, okay, in writing our research paper, and that was identifying our area of service. All right, guys, have a great day. Bye.